Sagittarius, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation from Born Without Boundaries. In these weekly videos, I review the major planetary aspects and transits, and I let you know how they're impacting your natal sun and what that means for your bottom line. I'm going to start off really broad with the current chart, what's going on in general for everybody, and then I will focus that information down to Sagittarius specific information, and then I will break things down into the 3 decans of Sagittarius, which are groups of 10 degrees, and depending on where your sun is in those groups of 10 degrees, I'll be able to know what aspects they're forming to other planets and derive what kind of experience you'll be having this week. Now, if you don't know exactly where your natal sun is located in the sign of Sagittarius, that's okay. All you need to know is when your birth date is, and I will translate everything else for you. But those birth dates are estimated dates. So if you do know your natal chart, and you know I have the dates off a little bit, it's because they're estimated dates. So definitely always believe your natal chart over the estimated dates. The estimated dates are for people who don't have their natal chart yet, right? You can still enjoy this video. So I'm going to start off real broad, Sagittarius, with the big stuff. Let's start there. This is for the week of August 15th to the 21st of 2023. We have a grand Earth trine all week long. Pluto is at 28 degrees Capricorn. Uranus is going to shift from 22 to 23 degrees Taurus. And Mars will end up at 26 degrees Virgo. It's going to move between 22 and 26 degrees Virgo. So there is a grand Earth trine between Pluto, Uranus, and Mars. And Pluto and Uranus are definitely energies of change, dynamic change, as well as addressing and incorporating and being comfortable with, especially when a trine is concerned, the taboo or the outcast. And then you also have Mars in the mix, which means we are taking action from a place of comfort with the taboo, with the strange, the unusual. Maybe we actually want to welcome that in this week. We also have a new moon that's happening on the 16th. That's a new moon in Leo that is conjunct to Venus. So it is a very romantic new moon. This is a beautiful time to welcome in new love, new finances, new desire, new value into your life, as well as, because it's in Leo, how you value yourself. Like, what do you value? What does arouse you and make you excited? What are you passionate about? What kind of inspires you? Now, we also have to know that that new moon is square to Uranus and trine to Chiron, which means there may be some surprising shifts in what we now desire or what we're now attracted to or attracting into our lives based on what we've experienced in the past and the pain that we've been through. We can be rejecting that old model and even and be more open to something different for the first time. So that could be a really exciting and surprising new moon energy as well. So that's actually beautiful energy. All week long, Venus is going to be conjunct the Venus is not going to be conjunct the sun. Venus is going to be conjunct the sun only up through the 16th. And then she is going to actually be square to Jupiter. She starts out square to Uranus. She's going to be square to Jupiter after that point, after the new moon. And she's trying to Chiron the entire time. This is really kind of exciting and disruptive energy, but rebellious because in the way, because of that connection to Chiron, rebellious in a way that we don't want to make the same mistakes again. Right? We're trying to heal from the pain, so we want to try something different. The real tough aspect that is getting me this week is Mercury and Mars are conjunct. That's not a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing. In Virgo, it's a very strong, it's productive. It's facetious and it's pedantic, but it's also very dedicated and very scheduled and reliable and productive, right? And so there's a lot of positive energy there. That's a really good energy. But by the 16th, 17th of this week, Mars is going to be in opposition to Neptune. And by the end of this week, so will Mercury. And that is problematic. Mercury's already slowing down. It's going to go retrograde next week on the 23rd. and you're already going to start to feel that pullback starting to happen. With the opposition to Neptune, there is this energy of deception, not being able to see things clearly, people talking out of their asses, or telling tall tales and other people believing them, taking action on shadows, like it's shadow figure, like aiming at the shadow figure when really it's just nothing to worry about. That kind of energy, you can be easily distracted and easily bamboozled in this kind of energy. And with Mars involved, you could be taking action on those illusions, on these illusions of not being good enough, not being strong enough, trying to prove yourself and overcompensate for a perceived inadequacy that doesn't actually exist. So therein lies a little bit of a problem when it comes to this week. Let's get into the Sagittarius specific energy, though. I mean, all of it's kind of rebellious energy. So I think the issue is, are we rebelling against the things that we should, or are we rebelling in order to rebel, to prove that we're not as injured as we feel? And that's going to take more time. And so to not be reactionary is really, really necessary this week. I would definitely watch out for anybody trying to sell you tonic water, Sagittarius, because trying to sell you tonic water as medicine, that can be really foggy. And especially when toward the end of the week, when Mercury is in opposition to Neptune, it could be more easy to believe bullshit. Just an FYI. Okay, so how do I understand what is with Sagittarius energy specifically? I look at what's going on in the zodiac sign of Sagittarius, and then I look at what's going on with the ruling dignitary of Sagittarius, which is Jupiter. Now, in Sagittarius, there's the 30 degrees that Sagittarius covers. There's nothing going on. There's no big energies hanging out in Sagittarius right now. But Jupiter is going to be moving between 14 and 15 degrees Taurus, so it's still in right dead center of the second decan of Taurus. It is square to Venus all week long. What does that mean? Indulgence. Overindulgence in love, in romance, in sensual pleasures like food and wine, and for some people even sex. There is that energy of Mars trine Pluto trine Uranus, which is also very curious and exploratory energy. So this energy actually just helps to push that energy and support that energy along. Could be a very kinky kind of week, but with that Jupiter involved, there is a chance of being excessive, eating too much, indulging too much. This is something you're going to have to be aware of, this energy of overindulgence. And then Mercury is going to be trine to Jupiter through the 20th of this week. So there is that sense of maybe telling tall tales or exaggerating what you say, but also being able to be curious and be really almost fluent at speaking to people from different cultures or interested in learning. It's a very curious and expansive energy, and it's nice, but it could also go a little overboard in its thought process. And because Mercury by the end of this week will be in opposition to Neptune, that does concern me. I wouldn't want you believing bullshit. So be very wary of that. This isn't the best week to sign major contracts. It just isn't. With the interruption of Neptune with Mercury, it's just not the best week for that. FYI, but this Jupiter trine Mercury, it's not a bad energy. It's actually harmonious in that it is curious and it is fluent and it is adventurous in its conversations. And it's a great time to learn. It's a great time to start learning a new language. It's a great time to show how much you already know about one, even though you may think you're a little bit better than you are. That could just be a caveat. Okay, let's go into the decans of Sagittarius, shall we? Let's do it. So if you know that your natal sun is between 1 and 9 degrees Sagittarius, you are a Sagittarius 1 because your natal sun is in the first decan of Sagittarius. This usually correlates to birthdays November Sagittarians. So no birthdays between November 22nd and December 1st. Now, if you are a November 21st Sagittarian, because your natal chart says so, then that's it. You're still in the first decan. I'm estimating the dates, so don't. It's your natal chart will always supersede the estimated dates. So the estimated dates are November 22nd to December 1st. This is definitely Scorpio cuspers. Your natal sun's creative development all year long, especially this year. There is a square to Saturn that is agitating you and frustrating you. You don't want the rules and regulations. You're feeling restricted. There is headbutting all year when it comes to rules, laws, and regulations or authority figures. You've got a sextile to Pluto and a trine to Neptune. You want to create and broaden yourself and not do the traditional. Sextile to Pluto and trine to Neptune is definitely the energy of, it's very psychic energy. It's very spiritual energy. It's very nonsensical but intuitive energy. So it's almost like being practical right now, especially with that square to Saturn, isn't going to be your strong point. It's going to be intuitive as well as bold and creative. FYI. That's long term. All of those are long term, though, over the next couple of years. Let's move on to Sagittarius 2. So if you know that your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Sagittarius, you are a Sagittarius 2. This usually correlates to birthdays between December 2nd and the 11th. So Sagittarius 2s, your natal suns are in a long-term trine to Chiron, and they are in a quincunx to Jupiter. Trine to Chiron is healing, finding acceptance for the challenges that you've faced and finding an application for the lessons you've learned by those challenges in order to improve your life and the lives of others. Really incorporating those difficult lessons into something you actually really value. This could also be physical healing as well, since Chiron is Chiron is in Aries, and it does represent, the physical self, the sense of self. So however you have felt compromised or been physically injured, this is a beautiful year for healing for you. The quincunx to Jupiter just means that you're agitated and you always feel like something's nagging at you. You've got to get something done. You want to get out of the norm. You want to get out of where you've been confined to. This is a good year for learning. This is a good year for getting an education and for traveling. This week, your natal suns are trine to Venus, so this means a lot of romance. It's a lot of romantic energy, a lot of surprises, a lot of even kinkiness in a way, because Venus is square to Uranus and Uranus is trine to Mars. So there is that energy of maybe flip-flopping to divine masculine, feminine energies, being curious and hopefully taking your spouse or your loved one along with you. But it is very sensual and romantic energy and very optimistic and very attractive, almost like you're radiating attractiveness right now, which is a really good thing. You also have a square to Mercury through the 18th. So in the beginning of this week, I would really stay away from signing any important contracts or making any important deals or taking any important tests or anything like that. There could be you could find that there could be a lot of kerfuffles and confusion when it comes to communications, information, or the tech that you work with every day. That's through the 18th, and then Mercury retrograde is going to start soon afterwards. So it's almost like in some ways you're getting a preview of it. FYI, but your natal sun is square, Mercury is square to your natal sun in its shadow period, which means you could already feel like Mercury is in retrograde. FYI. And then we have Sagittarius 3s. So if you know that your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Sagittarius, you are Sagittarius 3s because it's in the third decan of Sagittarius. This usually correlates to the estimated birthdays that range between December 12th and the 22nd. So if you are a December 23rd Sagittarian, then you would trust your natal chart on that. Absolutely. There's a lot going on for you because you guys are directly interacting with the energy in Leo. You are trine to this new moon. That's right. You are trine to the sun all week long, and you are trine to the new moon. So there's a lot of faith and trust. Trust this energy. There's a new beginning coming for you. Either it's financial or it's romance, but there's something that is a beautiful surprise that the universe is going to send you. It is a fantastically powerful time for you to manifest and open up your heart, because Sagittarius 3s, this new moon is bringing in beautiful blessings, confidence, courage, and radiance this week, all week long, with the sun trine your natal sun. It's really a beautiful blessing, and it's going to be easy for you to open up your heart and receive something new into your life. Trust. You have a long-term square to Neptune, which can cause that friction when it comes to confusion, but it could also inspire you creatively, and this would be more of a creative week for you. We also have a square to Mars, and by the 18th, also a square to Mercury. So watch out for acting upon impulse and for any insecurities that you have driving you to try to push or overcompensate, because I can tell you right now, this is misinformation. Be very wary of it. The blessings from the sun and the new moon are going to come to you. And it's going to be easy for you to open your heart. But when it comes to that square to Mars, that square to Mercury, and that square to Neptune, it's almost like, in some ways, no, the new moon's just going to be blessings. So I'm not going to say that. There's already a quincunx to Uranus. The quincunx to Uranus means that there's like a spur in your side when it comes to wanting to change or needing to change or feeling like you are restricted from being independent. You know, it's almost like a sense of you're ready for something new to happen. I'm just not sure you know which direction it's coming from. And there's also a long-term trine to the north node and sextile to the south node. This means that for the next 6 months, you're going to find yourself really feeling more comfortable with things that you haven't felt comfortable with before, because of opportunities that are coming out of your comfort zone. It's like your comfort zone is allowing you to be more comfortable trying different kinds of things, or being more comfortable about the fact that things are changing. This Neptune, square to Neptune, is long term, but since it is in opposition to Mars, it's like your natal suns are right in the middle of it. Misguided action. Watch out for misguided action this week. The reception of that beautiful new moon is about manifestation, prayer, and your heart opening wide in faith. This would be with regards to feeling like you have to take action to prove yourself. You do not. And if somebody asks you to, it's a bunch of BS. Just an FYI. Just an FYI. You let me know, Sagittarius, how all this energy is impacting you down below. Remember to subscribe to this channel and then come on over to Born Without Boundaries Tarot for your week ahead tarot card reading. I love you guys. I'll see you in the videos.